We are going live. Dr. Ravi wrote that we are going live.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So here we are.
Evening to you all. Thank you so very much for having me here. It's a pleasure being with you, sharing this platform, all the eminent speakers, so a mutual learning platform for me. And thank you all the viewers here. So to be up at this hour to listen to us all. So thank you so very much. I hope I will be in a position to share my video. Is my screen visible?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Don't worry, take it easy.
Okay, just a second. Is it now visible?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So we are going to be talking about the accreditation as well as the standardization of education and what NEP brings to us. So when I talk about the accreditation, the meaning of accreditation is the first and foremost thing that we must look at. So what we mean by it is that it's a process which is conducted by any external agency for any educational institution to basically formally recognize it, to have met the standards or to have exceeded the standards which are predetermined requirements or the criterias which are being set for any educational quality to be met. In a way, it is an officially recognizing procedure for any school for its credibility. What we mean by that is that for any school to maintain the educational standards, it is very important to undergo a process where 3 months in advance, when you need to take an accreditation, the school needs to fill in an application form and pay a application fees for the same. And a committee of members would visit the school. They would look at various records, etc. So to see whether the school is meeting all the criteria set by that accreditation body or not. Accreditation to schools in India is being performed by National Accreditation Board of Education and Training, which is also called as NABET, which is a constituent board of Quality Council of India. NABET has set the framework and standards for quality school governance, which is applicable to all the schools across the country, regardless of their size, type, board affiliation, and the nature of educational service provided. So whether it is a CBSE board or any other board, state board, etc., the central board or the state board, all the schools have to undergo this accreditation process. Now, what is the purpose of getting the accreditation for any school? These are basically the standards which have been developed for the schools so that they provide 3 things, which are the educational services that are beneficial for all the parties involved, that is all the stakeholders, be it the parents, be it the students, be it the management or the teachers, etc. To maintain the quality and to keep in focus the effectiveness in the rating of an educational management system. Now, what are the parameters on which NABED follows to score the schools for the approval of their accreditation? There are many, but out of those many, the few are qualification of the staff, the facilities that are being provided by the school, the maintenance of the school infrastructure, etc., the records, the examination and the evaluation system, and so on and so forth. What does these parameters help us in? Now, these parameters help us in establishing a system of self-development. If in case there are systems, already set system guidelines created, it helps in reviewing and self-developing, learning and improving the performance. It also encourages all the schools to pursue continual excellence in whatever they do. Now, besides the purpose, there are certain importances of getting the school accredited. What are these? The importance of accreditation is that it creates a set of quality standards for all the schools across the country. Why is this important? We see that there are a lot of cases of transfer within the country, specifically in the cases of armed forces or in the cases of banking professionals. So when the students are moving from one city to the other city, if the schools are accredited, means that they are following certain fixed standards, it becomes easy for the student to get adjusted and adapted to that system of education, which otherwise could be a problem for the child. The next point that I want to make here is that it makes all those engaged in education aware of the standards of excellence which they should strive to attain. Now, once these parameters are laid, these are all there available even for the parents on the CBSE website, which helps the parents to go through them time to time besides the teaching faculty and the management, so to maintain an equilibrium between the teaching faculty and the parents for an optimal output of a child's learning. It also makes possible for an evaluated program to know its strengths and weaknesses. As I mentioned a little earlier about the continuous improvement. So in case we are able to see where are we lacking, we can put in all our efforts towards improving that area and in what aspects it needs to develop. Now let us come at the standards of education. When we talk of the standards, it means the learning goals for what students should know and be able to do at each grade level, by which I mean that these are the minimum learning levels that each child must attain at each grade level. See, I'm going very slow in mentioning this. I'm focusing, laying importance on each and every word because it is very important for all educators to understand the meaning of standard of education, which generally, we negate at times. And specifically initially, when we were focusing more on the inputs and less on the output, as in the competency-based things and the outcomes. So once again, I'm reiterating on that minimum learning levels are the level or is the level in each subject at each grade level, which each and every child must attain to be able to move to the next grade. I hope I make sense and I am understood. It also includes both the description of what is to be learned and taught, that is the curriculum, and the results of assessment. As I just mentioned, outcome, the output. Educational assessments measure the extent to which a learner has acquired knowledge, skills, and understanding in a particular field, together with their ability to apply what they have learned. When we talk of Bloom's taxonomy, the highest order skills are application and creation. So we must focus on these two higher order thinking skills, which are application and creation. So the teachers must focus, and even NEP is very, very categorically focusing on these two levels and is not restricting to only remembering and understanding. We are moving away from rote memorization. Rote memorization was keeping the child only to the lowest level of Bloom's taxonomy, which was remembering. So to focus on the topmost levels of Bloom's taxonomy, that is application and creation, standards of education are very important to be placed into the system. As I mentioned earlier as well, NEP 2020 is also focusing on learning outcomes rather than the input-based standards of school education. Hence, in short, I can say that standards are the what of education, while the curriculum and the instruction, as in the teaching methodology or the pedagogy, are the how of the education. Once again, I repeat, standards are the what, means the minimum learning levels of the education, while the curriculum and the pedagogy are the how of it. Let's look at the relevance of standards in school education. Standards help ensure better accountability of whom? That is holding the teachers and the school responsible for the outcome amongst the students with respect to their knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Skills and attitudes are of paramount importance than knowledge. Why? Because knowledge is available at the click of a mouse now. So what is more important when we talk about the outcomes is the skills and the attitudes. The next is the practice of aligning learning to standards also helps ensure that a higher level of learning is attained. I was just mentioning about the Bloom's taxonomy, the highest levels, the application and creation. So the application of the aligning is going to be helping in attaining of those two higher levels. It also guides teachers in the process of assessment and help keep them on track. So all the three types of assessments, assessment as learning, assessment of learning, and assessment for learning. My last slide talks about what lacks in NEP 2020. For me, I think the provision of NEP 2020 to synchronize the uniformity between the central and the state education boards could have paved the way for one nation, one curriculum and common standards. We still are seeing that it has given a go-ahead to the states to follow their curriculum and center can follow their own, so CBSE. So this is something that I feel that there is one element in NEP that if this is taken care of, it's going to bring the best to our students all across the country. So thank you so very much once again for a very patient listening. And thank you so much, Sonu ma'am, for having me here. I wish everybody good luck.
Yeah, I would like to ask you some questions, ma'am. Can you please close the slide for 1 minute? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I'll just stop sharing my screen, please. Or maybe you can close. How do I do that?
You can just click across over there, share screen, stop share screen. It comes on the top.
Is it done?
No, not yet. The black screen is still visible. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So, ma'am, here I would like to ask you one thing that is like so many boards are coming, the IB board, the IGCSE board, and other boards are coming. Do you think that they fit in the accreditation? Because according to the NEP policy, as they say, it's a curriculum for one nation, one board, and everything. Will you think the international schools will implement them? Because it's not that easy to implement.
Sonal ma'am, exactly. That's what I mentioned in my last slide. That is where I feel that there is still a gap. It is not a one nation, one education policy. So I don't really see that happening. And there is going to be a struggle. So there is still going to be, the elite class people who would want their children to go study abroad would still want their children to be studying in the IB and not in CBSE. However, CBSE is definitely bringing in the experiential learning curriculum. So it is moving away from the rote memorization and bringing in the project-based learning, the introduction of one more year before grade 1. All of these are a very positive change that are being brought in. However, I still feel that this is going to take a little while because our teachers are still not trained enough. We have already seen the failure of CCE. To me, it was a brilliant system of evaluation and assessment, right? However, because of the lack of training, everybody took it in their own way and it failed. It miserably failed. Students used to get 10 CGPA in grade 10, but when it came to grade 11th, they were hardly passing, right? So one student getting a CGPA of 10 in grade 10 and then not able to perform at all in grade 11th, how is that possible? So all of that was very, very person specific, not system specific that was happening. Hence, there needs to be a lot of training, upskilling of the teachers and even the higher management, as in the principals. Right now, what I see is that, CBSE has made 50 hours of compulsory training. But how many of us are actually, I mean, why I'm saying us is because I'm including myself as well, though I very, very diligently attend the trainings and seminar sessions and all. But I've seen not all principals do that, to be very honest, right? And a lot of times when I have been attending the CBSE trainings, I have seen the principals would not even switch on their cameras. Okay. So they don't even answer when there are group tasks. It's only one or two people from the private schools who are addressing that. None of them from the government schools or the KVs, I'm sorry to say, but unless the reform happens there, it has to be a top-down approach. It cannot be a bottoms-up approach because bottom is always heavy. It is like this. So if there is this top person completely passionate towards it, can only take it down, right? I cannot take it down unless I am passionate myself, unless I attend a lot of seminars, a lot of series and upskill myself. So it's really very important. Government can do anything. Government is doing, see, Diksha platform, this platform, that platform, so much is available. Where do we have time doing that? Because we are busy doing a lot of administrative tasks. I think DOE needs to take, every day there are Google Forms coming over, so much. We are doing so many sessions, but I really wish that Department of Education takes note of this. Keep us a little free, wherein we observe the classes, we bring them, we train our people. I think all of that is going to only help. So implementation of NEP in its true spirit only is going to bring the results, nothing else.
And one more thing is that, do you think that this formation of international school syllabus, curriculum, and the normal standardized system, do you think will this impact the career growth of any child? Okay, my child will go to domestic or my child will go to international, he will be more highly skilled. No, that is not going to make a difference. What is your opinion on this, of the creation of international schools and lowering the parents towards those kind of streamlined education. So, I mean, I'm trying to say that do you think that international schools and normal schools do have any difference to upskill learners in a better way, and the children might not come up if they won't enroll themselves in the international schools? So, do you feel any lapse over there?
In my opinion, it's all about the faculty. I think even in the public schools, if the faculty is determined to give that kind, impart that kind of skill and nurture the children with with mindfulness, as in how to use the resources, what to use when, so all of that. I think it doesn't really matter whether it's an international school or whether it's any CBSE public or a private school. So it is completely our responsibility. It all lies on our shoulders, the educators.
Definitely.
The school doesn't really, it doesn't really matter. And of course, the parents, because it is a partnership between the parents and the school. No one person can make a difference in a child's life.
That is what I'm trying to say. Unless and until the implementation actually happens on the practical approach method, you just cannot follow NEP 20, NEP 22, no matter how many. After 10 years ago, there will be a new NEP 2030. But unless we start from here, from the implementation on the ground level, a change cannot be made. So no matter how many sessions you do,
Absolutely.
no matter how many more information you take, but there has to be an implementation straight at the ground level. So I think you
Also
have
the
actually.
enrollment of the parent, because parent is a key person, is a key stakeholder here. A lot of parents still have questions. Why project-based learning? Why do you give fruit to my child to eat? Like for example, there was one parent who had mentioned, why was watermelon given to why was a slice of watermelon? And we were doing the red color. Okay, so when we were introducing the red color, why not a slice of red watermelon? The child would feel good about it. The flavor, a lot of things that you would tactile, a little touch of it, because it's like a little, juicy and so much that one can teach. But the parent, so that kind of a trust factor on the faculty by the parent, that okay, I have given my child to this school now, and whatever they are going to do is the best for my child.
Definitely.
So that is what my request is from the parents. So parents, please trust your teachers and let them do whatever they have to do with the children, and I'm sure they're going to come out strong and wonderful.
I mean, parents come up with very petty issues, because they trust the school and they come out with such lame excuses that we are paying the fees and we should get everything because we are working hard to pay the fees of the child. It's not only that, you have to yourself enroll yourself in the child's learning journey along with the teacher's feedback or assessment styles. So I think a lot is hidden. We have to bring it out. So thank you, ma'am, so much for your wonderful insight. And it's been a really very healthy discussion. And I would like you to take the privilege to welcome Imam, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sonal ma'am. I will just introduce now our next speaker. Thank you so much for giving the opportunity to introduce her. Dr. Iman Abdul Samia Ali Hussain Alam is a lecturer at Botany and Microbiology Department at Al-Azhar University, Cairo, Egypt. Dr. Alam is a highly skilled researcher and a trainer who has trained people at undergraduate, postgraduate, doctoral, and postdoctoral levels with a special interest in phytochemistry, plant physiology, especially the green and the pharmaceutical biotechnology. Wow, ma'am. She has got MSc and PhD, these in plant physiology, production and improvement of secondary metabolites from wild medicinal plants using tissue culture techniques and biological evaluations of these secondary metabolites as in the treatment of many human dangerous diseases. This point is her first scientific interest. Additionally, she has submitted to 16 patents related to new drugs extracted from plants and novel methods for the determination of flavonoids and tannins in plants extracts. Also, she has 45 books in the area of medicinal plants. wow, ma'am, you have done, an immense contribution to not just the industry, but to the human, but to the mankind too. She has reviewed many international scientific books and scientific original articles, which is more than 250 in number, for many international scientific publishers. She is the president of hundreds international scientific meetings and participated as a keynote speaker, resource person, organizer, moderator, and chairperson in nearly about 1,500 international scientific meetings and engaged in many international training programs as organizer and instructor in a collaborative work with many international scientific and training organizations in many countries like Europe, USA, Asia, Africa. She also is a global ambassador of climate change, which is Global Awareness of Development Initiative, Abuja, Nigeria. Ma'am, we welcome you here on this platform and looking forward to have your insights. Thanks for sharing the platform with us.
Hello, my dear sister. Thanks for introducing me. My voice is clear? Hello?
Yes,
My voice?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Thank you. Appreciation to all of you. Namaste, Jai Hind. Just I want to deliver my lecture about accreditation. Thanks to my dear sister for introducing me. And thanks for Dr. Sonelwan and Dr. Ravi and all respected colleagues and all respected attendees. Now we need to discuss together accreditation. First of all, we need to know what is accreditation. Accreditation is a given field such as education uses its experts to define standards of acceptable operation and performance for the schools and educations organizations within it. Thus, accreditation refers to a standard setting and review process. So to do accreditation, we need to know some standards to measure them and to apply them and to do a review process to know if this school or institute generally can be accredited or not. We have some criteria like curricular aspects, teaching, leading, evaluation, research, innovation, leadership, infrastructure, and some learning resources, student support, progression, governance, leadership, as I said before, and institutional values, and some best parameters. We need also to know what is the vision and the mission of the institution. What is the objective of the educational programs? What is the outcome of these programs? What is the curricula inside each program? Students' performance, faculty contribution, publication, research awards and grants, fellowships and patents. It's very important to have innovative schools. Also, we need to know many things about association with other international schools. So we need to know quality of educational process inside this institute or inside this school. Sometimes I'm saying important word, for example, in my faculty, I'm talking about accreditation must be not on paper, must be a real accreditation. If you are going to submit submit for accreditation or renewal of accreditation, we need to be make it real, not on paper, not fake accreditation. Some people are seeking to be accredited, but they are not deserving to be accredited, otherwise are not. So we need to focus on not only to be accredited, but to be of high quality and high performance. So the goal of a school education regulatory system must be not restrict schools. It must be used to improve the educational outcomes, not to prevent innovation, not to demoralize teachers, principals, and students, to regulate the aim to empower schools and the teachers with full trust. We need to enable them to strive for excellence and best performance. We need to ensure the integrity of the system through the enforcement of complete transparency and the full public disclosure of all finance and all procedures and all educational outcomes. The rule is not to restrict. The rule is to push them to be better, to be innovative, not to be traditional, not to reach to be accredited and everything is ended after accreditation. Maintenance, sustainability is highly required. At present, all main function of governance and regulation of the school educational systems, namely the provision of public education, the regulation of education institutions, and the policy makings are handled by single body. In India, for example, development of school education or its arms. This leads to conflict of interest and excessive centralized concentration of power. It also leads to ineffective management of the school system as efforts towards quality educational provision. Also, they are often diluted by the focus of other rules, particularly regulations, the departments of the school education also perform. The current regulatory regime also hasn't been able to curb the commercialization and economic exploitation of parents by many for-profit private schools. So we need to focus on economic exploitation of parents. Also, it has all too often discourage public spirited private schools. There has been far too much asymmetry between regulatory approaches to public and private schools, even though the goals of both types of schools should be the same to provide quality of education. As we said before, education is a right. So education can't be, or science and knowledge can't be purchased by money. It must be a currency itself. So to appreciate science and knowledge, we must not correlate it and its quality by money or by fees or profits. The public education system is a foundation of vibrant democratic society, and the way it is run must transform it and invigorated in order to achieve the highest levels of educational outcomes for the nation. As we said before, we are seeking to achieve sustainable development goals. It will not achieve without focusing on number 4, quality of education. Nation improvement or development or welfare also must be depend on quality of education. At the same time, the private sector must also be encouraged and enabled to play significant role and a beneficial role. The key principle and recommendations of this policy regarding the state school educational system, the independent responsibilities with that system, and the approach to its regulation are as follows. The Department of School education, which is apex state level body in school education, will be responsible for overall monitoring and policy making for continual improvement of the public educational system. It will not involve it with the provision and operation of schools or with the regulation of schools in order to ensure due focus on the improvement of public schools to eliminate the conflict of interests. The educational operations and the services provision for the public schooling system of the whole state of India, for example, will be handled by the Directorate of School Education, including the DEO and BEO. It will work independently to implement policies regarding educational operations and provision. An effective quality self-regulation or accreditation system will be instituted for all stages of education, including preschool education, private, public, and philanthropic, to ensure compliance with essential quality standards. We are seeking to achieve basic or essential quality standards. Also, we need to focus on academic matters, including academic standards. A curricula in the state will be led by a secretary. Also, we need to focus on the culture, structures, the systems that empower and provide adequate resources to schools, institutions, teachers, officials, and communities. We can't ignore our society, so we need also to highlight the issue of our community and other people who are benefiting from the educational process. As I said before, education is a right, as like as eating, praising, and any other rights. So education is a right. So we need also to focus on the children and adolescents enrolled in schools must not be forgotten in this whole process. After all, the school system is designed for them. So we must take them all our careful attention must be paid to them, to their safety and rights, particularly girl. We are talking about woman empowerment. So we need to focus on girl, children, and the various difficult issues facing adolescents, such as substance or drug abuse and forms of discrimination. We are against the discrimination. As you know, Sustainable Development Goals are 17. Number 4, quality of education. Number 5, beside it, is talking about discrimination and women empowerment and so on. So we must be against the discrimination. Also, we must be against any violence. We need to focus on being clear, safe, and also we need to focus on efficient mechanisms for reporting and for due process on any infraction against childhood, against adolescent. We need to talk about their rights, their safeties, the development of such mechanisms that are effective, timely, and well known to all students will be recorded at a very high priority. So again, as I said before, education is a right, as like as the right of life. So we must take care of girls as their safety, their rights. We must be against any violence by word, by hand. We must be against any type, any simple type of violence. So finally, accreditation is not a paper. Accreditation must be a fact. All institutes are happy by being accredited and so on. We need to show accreditation, not virtually. We need to show accreditation on land. We need to show evaluation. We need we need to see feedback from students. We need to see our students are satisfied. So accreditation done by experts, but sustainability achieved by leaderships, high performance. When we are talking about leaderships, not only principals, all people who are working in schools must be leaders. Students themselves are the leaders of today, not the leaders of tomorrow or the leaders of the future. We need leaders of today. Thanks a lot. This is all what I have. I'm very happy to be with you. Thanks, Sunil mom. Thanks, my colleagues, and thanks for IDYM for inviting me. Thanks a lot for Dr. Ravi and Miss Donnell and all people behind the camera. Thanks again to IDYM and thank you very much. Namaste and bye-bye. Jai Hind.
I think we all are sitting together discussing such a very serious issue, and it's such a serious topic which is almost neglected in certain areas. We always discuss on focusing on the child developmental strategies and teacher skilling. This is also a much needed aspect, and it looks like we are having a very close roundtable conference, which is a very serious discussion. So the salute to all of you to bring this code into the limelight, to bring this topic and into a wonderful limelight and highlight all the issues which we need to focus on NEP and which is not there in the NEP. So thank you, Imam Man, for wonderful discussion, wonderful knowledgeable insight. And I would like you to take the privilege to welcome Patricia, ma'am, if she is there on the session.
Welcome, my dear sister. I think Dr. Patrick, she is not here.
She's not there today?
No.
Okay.
She is sick. I'm so sorry. She is sick.
Okay.
She informed me.
So I will, okay. I will take the privilege to have all the participants open their videos, and anyone wants to speak, you are given the freedom to please speak on this wonderful topic, which is not discussed by many, but a lot has to be discussed. Anyone wants to speak on this, please? Suraya ma'am. So I think we take the privilege as an honor. Suraya ma'am, are you there?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving me.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me such a super opportunity. But right now I am out of home. I can't stay here more.
Okay. So do you have anything to speak, ma'am?
No, thanks.
Okay. So I think we take the privilege to end the session now because two of the speakers have unfortunately not taken up the session. And this is all for today. And hats off to both of you to attend this session. And Shivani ma'am, do you have anything to share at the last moment? A takeaway message or something? Please come on the screen. Shivani ma'am, please take the privilege. If you have anything to send a message out there as a takeaway for all.
Can I actually, there was some disturbance in between. Can you please repeat?
Can I have the privilege for you to send a takeaway message for the audience, for the viewers and the educators out there? Do you think you have anything to give us and a takeaway message for all?
Yes, my takeaway message for all is to, be very committed and very passionate. We are fortunate enough to be educators. And I think, in one of my sessions, I had already said, because I can't recall where did I read or who had actually mentioned that. But then, if a doctor uh, is not treating the patients right, so it is only a few people who are getting impacted. If an architect or a civil engineer, then again, a few buildings might go wrong. But if a teacher or an educator, so it's like the entire nation can suffer. So I think that's very important for us all to understand. Please don't demean yourself. Be proud of who you are, and stay very focused. Your children are the biggest asset. Your students are the biggest asset, and please nurture them with complete sincerity and complete responsibility. That's my message for everybody.
Wonderful. That is what I think. I think because of the two speakers not being available today, we would have had a wonderful, more interactive session. And Imam ma'am, do you have anything to share as a message for all the stakeholders of the education?
Yes, my dear sister. I wanted to highlight one point related to public school. Public school educational system must be more attractive. The aim of the public school education system will be to impart the highest quality of education, so that it must be attractive option for parents from all places to educate their their children in these public schools. Also, I need to highlight another point related to periodic health checkup of the overall system. The sample is based on National Achievement Survey, which is abbreviated by NAS, of student learning levels, will be carried out by the proposed new National Assessment Center with collaboration with other governmental bodies such as NCERT, that may assist in assessment procedures as well as data analysis. The assessment must cover students across government as well as private school. So we need to focus also on all students, not students only in private schools. States, as you know, I'm interested in Indian education, so I'm taking it as an example. Indian states also will be encouraged to conduct their own Conesius-based state assessment survey, which is abbreviated by SAS. The results of this will be used only for developmental purposes. So we need to develop, we need to change the situation on land. Public disclosure by schools of their overall and anonymized student outcomes and for continuous improvement of the school. We are not talking about only about only improvement of the school. We are talking about continuous improvement. We are talking about sustainability until establishment of the proposed new National Assessment Center. We need to search for qualification and best performance and also continuous improvement. So I wanted to talk about encouragement public schools to be more attractive to others, not only private, because not all people can afford the fees or related to private school. So we must also improve the performance of the public school. As we said before, education is a right. So it must not be correlated with money. Please, in all countries, we need to do free education, because we have brilliant minds. So if we are correlating education by money, we will lose these brilliant minds. So
Definitely.
to achieve our humanity purposes, we need to focus on don't correlate education with money. Education must be for free. We have many examples in developing and developed countries. They achieved this purpose. They made education for free. Any improvement of all nations will start from making education for free. Thanks a lot. This is all what I have. I'm very happy to be with you again. Thank you.
I think, I think a lot of missing puzzles are there. We need to segregate the puzzles, again, reshuffle them, and again, join them to see what is missing. So, salute to both of you, and salute to the team who is working behind the curtains, Dinal ma'am and Ravi sir, for giving us this wonderful opportunity. And I take the privilege to thank both of you for not taking a leap today in spite of the challenges you're facing. And that is why we are called as Edu Warriors. Because in spite of all the challenges, in spite of all what we face on the personal front, we definitely make it a very professionalism that the commitment is more important than other things. So salute to both of you. Thank you for being on this wonderful platform, IDYM, and looking forward to more sessions with you both. And I take the privilege to thank you. Thank you so much.
Completely my privilege to be here, my pleasure to be here. And through your platform, I wish to make one humble submission to the managements of all the private schools is to consider the trainings and upskilling of the faculty as paramount. Put in a lot of, as in keep a budget for that, an yearly budget for that. Because I've seen a lot of educational institutions do that. That's very important. So it should not be that we must look at, okay, 50 hours is compulsory. So whatever is free of cost, let's send our teachers there.
Definitely.
It is
That
not
is why,
to serve the
yeah,
purpose.
that is why they say the show must go on.
Absolutely.
Rukenge nahi, ruk jana nahi. The show must go on. So let us go on, no matter whatever we face, no matter whatever we go through. Let's rock and keep more sessions empowering everyone on a very true note, on a very honest note. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Good night. Take care.
Thank you, my dear sister. Thank you.